G'day everyone and welcome to another Minecraft build tutorial. In this one we'll be creating this base that has everything you'll need for a survival playthrough. And as usual, I'll do a tour of the base so you can be sure this is something you want to build. Alright, so starting off the tour, let's first have a quick little look around the outside. And as you can see, the fences are actually made up of azaleas and also just regular oak fences. And that gives the base a really nice green kind of vibe to it. Yeah, it's pretty much just this repeated pattern throughout the entire base for the back area, and then the front is this normal fence design that we got going on. And then heading through the front gate, we've got 3 fence gates because we do have a horse stable over here, and horses can't fit through a single fence gate, so we've just got 3 here. Now heading to the left, let's have a look at all of these farms that we've got going on. We've got a bunch of wheat over here and also carrots. You can of course replace these with whatever kind of crop you want. And to keep the water flowing on all of these, we've got some of these have been set as slabs with also water inside. Now heading over here, this is an animal pen that you can use to fill up with whatever animal you want. Cows, pigs, chickens, you name it. And then heading underneath here, pretty much underneath the platform now, we've got a little station here for some crafting supplies and also a composter. Over here we've got our smelting wall with a couple of furnaces and also some crafting blocks here as well. And then over here is where our horse would be kept in. We've got some hay bales as well, just for him to munch on, hypothetically. And then to the left of that down here, we have our toggleable nether portal. So pressing on the left side will ignite the portal, and pressing the right side button will disable it. I prefer to keep them toggleable as the noise can get pretty annoying sometimes, but if you don't want to do the redstone, you can just leave it completely on all the time. It is pretty far down, so you shouldn't be able to hear it most of the time. And also down here, we've got some little decorations with some armor stands and also a bunch of barrels. Now let's head back up over to the other side here, and over here we have our sugarcane farm. All of these slabs here have water underneath them, which is allowing us to have some sugarcanes on these blocks here. And then over here is kind of the storage for the sugarcane. We've got a double chest, a barrel, and also a crafting table. And then in these little sections, I've just got some flowers and some grass. You could of course put whatever you want in here. It is entirely up to you. And now that's all of the downstairs area done, so let's head upstairs and have a look at the main base and also our storage / crafting area. So over here we've got a bunch of barrels and a bunch of double chests, and we also have some various crafting blocks as well. Over here we also have a little bit of brewing with an infinite water source for your water bottles. And then taking a look inside of the main base, it is pretty small so we can't really fit too much in here, but we do have a bit of storage and some barrels all along the top here. And also we've got 2 double chests here, crafting table, and some extra decorations, and of course the bed as well. And so that's pretty much it for the entire base. If you want to build this for yourself, feel free to stick around and we'll get started on the tutorial right now. Starting off the build, you will of course need to find a very flat open area, and we'll start off by placing the base of all of the pillars. Next, it's time to raise up all of the pillars to the correct heights. All of the smaller ones will be 2 blocks high, and all of the taller ones will be 5 blocks high. Now it's time to connect up all of the pillars with a fence. For this fence design, I'm going with azaleas and flowering azaleas on the bottom, and then above that we're going with some oak fence gates and also oak fences. Also be sure to add a lantern on and also cap off the tops of the pillars with some oak trapdoors. In the middle at the front, add in 3 fence gates and then continue adding in the same fence design around all of the sides. Also, just a quick note is I completely forgot to add in some coarse dirt underneath the fences for the azaleas. I would definitely recommend adding these in as it looks really nice, but I completely forgot to and only realized when I was pretty much finished with the build, unfortunately. Next, it's time to add in these arch designs, and we're placing these one below the very top of all of the pillars, and this is kind of like the supporting area for the top platform. For this big gap here on the front, we'll be doing the same arch design, except we'll just be extending it using extra trapdoors. Next, it's time to add in the staircase. Be sure to space this 1 block away from the pillars. Now go ahead and fill in the entire platform with some oak slabs. Next, let's add in the fence design for the top of the platform above the arch designs that we created. And these are pretty similar to the fences that we did below, except without azaleas, of course. Next, let's start creating our little house, and all of these pillars are spaced 1 block away from the fences. Next, raise each of these pillars up to 4 blocks high in total. Then connect all of them up together along the top. Now with the pillars done, let's move on to the front wall design. Firstly, place in some stripped oak logs like this in the center. On the left side, place in some oak stairs and also a glass pane. On the right side, some more oak stairs and also an oak door. Then on this section here, place in 2 fence gates and also a fence with a lantern on. Heading over to the wall on the right side, this one is really easy. We're just going to completely fill it in with some stripped oak logs. For the back wall, we're going to place in some more stripped oak logs on the left and right side, and then in the center, add in some oak stairs and also a glass pane. Also repeat the same design that we did on the front with the fence gates and fence. Next, onto the right side wall, we'll be adding in some stripped oak logs like this on either side, and then some upside down stairs with some glass panes. Next, it's time to grab out your scaffolding, head up to the top and create the trim of the roof design. So for the trim, we'll be using some stone brick slabs and also stone brick stairs, and then for the main body of the roof, we'll be using oak stairs and oak slabs. Of course, repeat this trim design on the back side and then go ahead and fill in the rest of the roof. Also, don't forget to fill in these little gaps here with some stripped oak logs. Okay, and with all of the big main parts of the build done, it's time to move on to the various small little things that we're going to have to add in throughout the build. And now that we just finished off the house, let's head inside and do the interior. So first, grab out your barrels, and we're going to place 4 in a line just on the same level as the pillars along here. Do the same on each side. Then in between these at the top, we're going to place in some oak slabs. Then underneath on each corner, we're going to place some more oak slabs, and in between those, some oak trapdoors. Now, in the corner opposite to the door over here, place in a bed. Next to that, a crafting table. And then next to that, some double chests, just like this. And then over in this corner, we're going to place a stripped oak wood and then a flower pot with a blue orchid. And then lastly, to finish off, we'll place a lantern on top of the crafting table here. And that's it for the interior of the little house. Next up, let's create a little planter box. This is in line with the stairs here. So coming to the back, let's place in 3 grass blocks like this. Then we're going to cover each exposed face with an oak trapdoor. Now on top of this, chuck in some flowering azaleas and regular azaleas, and that's it for the little planter box. Next, let's move on to the storage/crafting area, and to start this off, we're going to grab some barrels, and we're going to go 1 block away from this trapdoor and place in 2 like this. Then let's head over to this corner, place another 2, head over to the other corner, same thing, and then we're going to place another 2 just in line with these 2 on the other side like this. Now, beside each of these barrels, we're going to place in 2 double chests like this. Alright, and with all of the chests done, it's time to now add our slabs and trapdoors above everything here. So to start off, let's place a slab above the barrels here, and then above the chests, let's place in some trapdoors. And we're pretty much going to alternate between this pattern, so in the gap here, another slab, another 2 trapdoors, slab on top of the barrels. You get the point, let's do it. Okay, and now with that done, it's time to add in all of our blocks in between these gaps here. So on the first gap on the left side, let's place in an ender chest, and above that, a grindstone. Then in the next gap, a crafting table and an anvil. And then in the last gap, a smithing table with a stone cutter. Next, it's time to add our little island thing into the center here. To line this up, we're gonna first place some oak stairs. This is going to be in line with these 2 blocks and also the crafting table here, so place it right there. Beside that, we're going to place 2 barrels like this, and then in front of all of these, another 3 barrels. Then on this side, we're going to place an oak trapdoor, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to cover the remaining faces of all of the barrels with some oak signs. Next, let's add some water into our stair block here, and instead of using a cauldron, this is actually like an infinite water source that you can use to get water bottles for brewing. So next to this, we're going to place in 2 brewing stands, and then on this side, we're going to place a flower pot with a cornflower or your plant of choice. Next to that, we're going to place a lantern, and then finally a large amethyst bud. And that's it for the top platform area. Now let's head down and create all of the bottom section. So first, let's add in our pathway, and to line this up, we're of course going to do a 3-wide path in line with the front entrance, and let's extend this all the way down to the stairs. And now we're going to fill in all of these blocks with stone, gravel, and andesite. Just texture it as much as you want. You could of course stick with a single block if that's what you prefer. I like to texture it up, so it's up to you. Alright, so that's kind of like our main path done, and now we have to do several kind of little paths going throughout the entire downstairs area. So firstly, what we're going to do is go in the middle of this section here, which is right here, and we're going to destroy this section until we get to the center of this pillar here. Now we're going to extend this all the way down this way until we reach this pillar here, and then we're going to keep going until about here. Now let's head back around this way. And then for this side, we're going to destroy in the middle again. We're going to destroy these 3 blocks. Then we're going to go all the way up in line underneath this section. Then we're going to go another 2 blocks this way, and we're going to destroy a rectangular shape like this all the way around here. And this is for our sugarcane area. Hopefully that was easy enough to follow. Here's some aerial shots for you if that was a little bit too confusing. And now, because we're going to have farms in these sections, we're going to have to replace some of the blocks with slabs and put some water inside of them. So to do that, we're going to first place 1 slab right here, another one right here, and then another one right here. It doesn't matter how specific you are, they should reach all of the blocks. Just as long as you got kind of 3 spaced apart here, you should be all good. And now let's just go ahead and fill in all of these empty blocks here with our andesite, stone, and gravel. Now once we get back to this section here, all of these blocks here are going to be slabs. So just in line with these sections here. And then these side ones can just be normal stone blocks. It doesn't really matter, you can make them slabs as well if you wanted. And we're actually going to fill in all of these slabs here with water. Alright, next let's continue doing the path for the inside here. And this is pretty easy to do, so what we're going to do is destroy these 2 blocks here underneath this section. And then let's extend this side all the way to the end. We're going to bring this around this way, and then we're going to stop once we get in line with this block here. And now let's just extend this all the way to underneath here. And then heading back over this way, we're going to destroy these 3 blocks as well in line with the pillar up until we reach the existing pathway here. And now let's just destroy all of this grass and replace it all with our pathway blocks. And that is it for our pathway. Next, let's add in all of our fences for our animal pens. So for the first one, which is going to be just the main livestock, we're going to come in line with these two pillars here, and let's place some fences up until we reach the pathway. And then we're going to bend this all the way around this way into an L shape until we reach this area here, and then let's just close it off like that. Then let's go ahead and add in some fence gates wherever you want. I'm going to add one here and also over here. And then it's up to you. Something I like to do to decorate in here is to add some coarse dirt and also some podzol to make it kind of just look like an animal area. So let's just replace some of these grass blocks with coarse dirt and also some with some podzol. And then for some bonus extra detail, you can add in some grass as well. Next, let's head over to this area over here, and this is where our horse pen is going to be. So to create this, we're going to create a square kind of in this section right here. So let's add in some fences along here, and then we're going to go along this way as well and cover up this section as well. Then in this gap here, place in an oak fence gate. And then we're going to do a similar thing as before. Let's replace some of these blocks with some coarse dirt. And let's also chuck in a couple of hay bales as well, just so this is kind of looking like a horse stable, I guess. Alright, next let's head over to the front, and in this area here we're going to add in a little crafting station. So on the back left corner here, let's place in a barrel. On the other corner, let's place in a crafting table. And then in all of these grass blocks here, let's replace these with some coarse dirt. Now in between these two, let's place in a double chest, and then on top of the crafting table and the barrel, chuck in an oak slab, and then in between them above the chest, some oak trapdoors. Now in front of the barrel and the crafting table, just place an oak sign, and then that's it for our little crafting station. Next, let's turn around, and in these two rectangle areas here, let's place in some grass and some flowers. So just randomly place in some grass, and then chuck in your flowers of choice. Make sure to randomize it up, keep it looking kind of cool. And now with our little garden done, let's head over here, and then we're going to place in some fences in line with these stairs here on each side, and then underneath them, let's place in some lanterns. And then in this corner over here, let's also place in a composter. Next, it's time to grab out the hoe, and we're going to till all of this area here up into the fence, and then we're going to till all of this area as well inside of the pathway. And after a while, if you have some areas turning back to dirt, it means that your water isn't really reaching it. So make sure to just replace some more of these with some slabs and chuck some water in there as well. Next, let's go ahead and plant all of our crops of choice. I'm going with carrots in the L-shaped one over here, and then we're going to place wheat in this one over here. And then that's it for our two farms over here. Next, let's move on and add in all of our sugar canes. And to do this is really easy, of course. We're just going to chuck in some sugar canes on all of these grass blocks. If you can't place one on any of these grass blocks, it means that you missed some water along these sections here. Alright, and that's everything for the outside section. Now, all that's left to do is everything on the inside underneath the platform. So to start off, let's add in our lanterns. So head over to this pathway over here, and in the corner right above, let's add in a slab and chuck a lantern on as well. Now let's head over here, and then we're going to look in the middle of the staircase and also in the middle of these azaleas here. Stand in line with this pathway, and we're going to place another slab just like this and chuck a lantern on. And then we're going to do the same thing in line with this pathway here, add in another slab and a lantern. Next, let's create the area underneath these stairs here. So firstly, let's chuck in 2 oak stairs in this little section. And then in here, we're going to fill in this area with some stripped oak wood blocks. Now in front of these, on either side, let's chuck in some barrels, and then in the middle, a composter. On the sides of both of these barrels, let's chuck in some oak trapdoors, and then on top of the barrels, some flower pots, and then your plants of choice. I'm going with a blue orchid in the left and an azure bluette in the right. Next, let's add in our smelting wall, and to line this up, first grab out your furnaces, and we're going to line ourselves up with these azaleas here, and in the middle one, we're going to place a furnace. Then let's place an additional 4 in a line like this, so that it lines up with the other middle of these azaleas. And now above all of these, let's add in some oak slabs above all of these here, and then we're going to add in some blast furnaces here, and then on the other 2 blocks here, let's add in some smokers. Now underneath this top row, let's add an oak slab in the middle, and then let's place in 2 trapdoors on either side supporting these extra furnaces here, and then we're going to cap off either side with some oak trapdoors. And that's it for our little smelting area. Now let's add in the little island. And to line this up, our first barrel is going to be in line with this section of the pathway here, and we're going to go into the middle, lining up with this pathway. Sorry, there's a lot of lining up in this tutorial. It's a little bit annoying, but yeah. So one block away from that barrel, place another barrel, and in between those, a crafting table. Then let's surround all of these blocks with some oak signs. And now on top of the crafting table, right in the center, place a flower pot with your plant of choice. I'm going with an azalea. And now all that's left to do in the entire tutorial is to add in our toggleable nether portal. So this is probably going to be the most difficult part of the tutorial, so I'm going to try and explain it as best as I can along the way. So of course, first let's create our entrance, and this is going to go down by 7 stairs, and it's going to be kind of hard to explain, so just kind of follow along with me. So let's first remove this top layer. And then, so this is where we're going to be placing our first set of stairs, and this is 1 out of 6. So we're going to keep going down an additional 6. And just like that, that's our entrance there. So if we count the stairs, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's how you'll know that you're at the correct depth. And now while we're at it, let's quickly replace all of these dirt blocks with stone, just so it looks a little bit nicer. And also this block here underneath the pillar, we're going to replace this dirt block with an additional oak wood block. And now let's just continue replacing all of these blocks here with stone. We're not going to do the top layer, of course, because we want to keep this grass. And then next, we're going to cover up these 3 blocks here with some oak trapdoors, and also underneath here, some more trapdoors. Then we're going to replace these 3 dirt blocks with some oak stairs. We're also going to have to keep replacing these exposed dirt blocks with stone as we go. And then these 3 blocks here are also going to be stone slabs, and this is going to be the roof of the whole section as we go forward. Alright, and now it's time to excavate out our area. So to try and make this as easy as possible, let's stand on top of the bottommost stair block, and we're going to dig in by 5. So let's go in a line like this up until we reach the ceiling. So that's 1, 2, and 5. And then we're going to do the same on these sides up until we reach the end here. Now you should have this rectangular shape that extends 5 blocks away from the bottommost stair block. And on this section here is where we're actually going to be adding in our nether portal. So we can just take out these blocks to help us align some things. So let's actually add in our obsidian now. It'll just make things a little bit easier as we move forward. Okay, and now we have a little bit more excavating to do. So to do this, let's go to the left of the stairs, and we're going to destroy a line like this. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. And now let's just extend this all the way until we reach the obsidian here. And now we're also going to do, in the middle of this area, we're going to go a 3 block wide and all the way up to the top as well. And then of course repeat this on the other side. Alright, next let's add in our oak log pillars. So in front of the portal on either side here, let's add in some oak logs all the way up to the ceiling. And then also in these 2 sections here beside the staircase, we're going to add in some more oak logs, just like this. Next, let's connect all of these up along the top. We're going to connect up the side ones and also the front one as well. And then on the middle of these areas, let's add in some lanterns. Now in this section here, we're going to extend these stone slabs all the way into the rest of the area. And then on the left side here, let's chuck in some barrels all the way up to the top and do the same on the other side as well. And now in between both of these barrels, let's chuck in some upside down oak stairs on the bottom and also at the top. And of course, repeat this on the other side. And then on here, we're going to be placing some armor stands. And then over here on these pillars, on 3 blocks up, we're going to place in some buttons on either side. And now let's fill in both of our armor stands. So on the left side, I'm going with some gold armor, and on the right side, some netherite. I realize this is probably pretty expensive, so feel free to replace any of these with whatever armor you want. And now, all that's left to do is the redstone for the toggleable nether portal. I recommend doing it toggleable as the noise can get pretty annoying, but if you don't feel like doing all of the redstone, you can just leave it on all of the time. It is, of course, completely up to you. However, the redstone is actually pretty easy to do. So let's start off by placing in 2 dispensers in the bottom left corner and also in the bottom right corner. Now to make things easier, let's just destroy all of these stone blocks, and we're also going to extend this a couple of blocks back just to make things easier. Now let's grab out some stone blocks or your blocks of choice, and behind this left dispenser, let's place a stone block. And then we're also going to extend this maybe 2 blocks into the side here. Now, next to this stone block, let's place in a sticky piston, and above that, any block, we're just going to go with a stone block. And now on top of this block here, we're going to place in a redstone line. We're going to also extend this back down here. And then underneath here, we're going to be placing in a repeater, and make sure to right click this just once. I can't do it while I'm holding shift. There we go. Now heading back over here, let's add in a stone block next to the sticky piston like this. And we're also going to extend this a little bit more. And now we're going to go up to here. This is where the button should be. Yep, it is on this layer here. So we're going to add in some redstone that comes along this way. And then we're going to place a repeater right here. And that's it for this dispenser here. We're going to be placing a water bucket in here. And to make sure that we got this right, let's actually quickly place a stone block here. And when we right click this, it should place water and then quickly take it back up. So let's test it out. And there we go, that is working perfectly. Just make sure you followed along exactly, and this should work perfectly for you. I'm not sure if this is going to work in Bedrock though. You might have to figure out some other kind of system for Bedrock. Unfortunately, I don't own a Bedrock account, so I can't test this out, sadly. I do want to do that in the future though. And now to finish up the redstone, in this one we're going to put in a flint and steel, and all that we need to do is simply hook up this button to this dispenser. So to do that, let's link up the dispenser like this. We're going to destroy a bunch of stone blocks up until we get to here, which is where the button is. And then let's place in some redstone dust like this. And there we go. Now if we right click this button, we should ignite the portal like this, and then if we press this one, it should turn off the portal. Now, all that's left to do is to just cover up this back wall here with some stone. And there we go, that's it for our toggleable nether portal section down here. And with that, actually, the entire base is now fully done. So, if you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to leave a like, as it helps this video reach more people. Also, feel free to subscribe if you like these kinds of build tutorials and other interesting Minecraft build videos. Cheers for watching everyone, and I will see you in the next video.